Welcome everyone to our first discussion with the DoDEA Director via Google Hangout. We have with us Mr. Tom Brady, the DoDEA Director, and Dr. Linda Curtis, the Principal Deputy Director and Associate Director of Academics. Also joining us today are DoDEA schools from around the world. We have Amelia Earhart Intermediate School and Humphreys Middle High School from the Pacific, Ramstein Middle School and Vicenza Middle School from Europe, and we have Crossroads Elementary School and Hampton Primary School from the Americas. I'm going to turn it over now to Mr. Brady and Dr. Curtis for opening remarks.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I sincerely appreciate you taking the time. This is a hangout, and what we intend to do is answer as many questions as we can. Before we do that, I just want to say a couple of things that I think are pretty important. I've been at the job about 18 months now, and I'm joined by Dr. Linda Curtis, who has been a teacher, an assistant principal, a principal, a superintendent, acting director of DoDEA America, the director of the Pacific, and now she's here as the principal deputy and director of student achievement. So it's a team effort, and again, we're looking forward to chatting with you. I've been, many of you know, in the first 100 days, I went literally around the world to try and meet as many stakeholders as I could, to meet the teachers and administrators, parents, and students. And I came away with a couple of thoughts. The first was that we were doing, as an organization, DoDEA, we were doing an awful lot. And it's been my experience in public education that sometimes when you're doing too much, you're not doing much at all. And so what I wanted to do was focus the organization on student achievement and improving student achievement. And so I thought it was critical, and I still think it's absolutely critical, that we look at raising our standards. And you've heard a lot about college and career standards, and we began the implementation of pre-K through 5 for mathematics. And we'll talk about more, and I'm sure we'll have some questions and reactions to that as we go forward. But I think it's absolutely critical, and it's based on data. And the standardized tests that we've used, it's pretty clear that, particularly in mathematics, we need to improve. We have great students, great teachers, and great administrators, and I'm confident that when we get in the next 5 years, when we have these standards in place in every one of the subject academic areas, that we will be the best school system in the United States, and we should be in the world. So that's one critical area that we're doing. The second critical area, which is hopefully invisible to a degree at the school level, is reorganizing above the school level for student achievement. We're putting more resources in various areas so that they can impact and improve academic performance in the classroom and provide those kind of supports to the teachers and administrators that we need to do. Right now, we have a great deal of logistics and overhead, and I think we need to refocus that. We need, again, to absolutely focus on student achievement. So those are the two main focuses that we're looking at. We are blessed in terms of resources as an organization, having been in urban school districts for a long time. I come to DoDEA, and I am delighted as I look at the commitment of the part of our senior leadership Department of Defense and Congress, and the administration. So we're thankful for that. We have, again, some great students and great teachers, and we just need to support them better. And that's what Linda and I are trying to do up here at the headquarters, just outside of Washington. So you didn't meet just to hear me talk, and so what we'd like to do now, Linda,
I just am happy to be here and having this opportunity to do another way of communicating with some of our stakeholders out there. Very important that we get that information from you so that we can do a better job here at headquarters to support our students and our parents.
Yeah, thank you. I've never been at a Google Hangout, so this is kind of interesting. I was going to put a sweatshirt on and my jeans, but I think there's a couple caveats as we go. I think that you will be asking some very good questions, and we will provide the absolute best information that we have. And if we don't have it, then we'll tell you. That's a good question. We'll follow up on it. We won't be able to get to all the questions, and so what I'd like to do is we'll have them all written down, and then and Frank Rivera, who's in charge of our strategic communications, will have a spot on the website, and we'll answer them in the next couple of weeks and have the answers for you. With that said, why don't we open it up to you all?
Okay. So before we get started, I remind everyone that you mute your microphones if you're not talking. So let's go ahead and get things started. First up, we have Amelia Earhart in Immediate School. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and ask your question.
Good morning.
Go ahead. Greetings from Okinawa, Japan. I'm Wendy Cooley, the principal at Amelia Earhart Intermediate School. We are grateful for this opportunity to speak with you today. We have a group of stakeholders with us comprised of parents and one student from across the Okinawa district who'd like to ask you a few questions.
All right. Good morning, afternoon, and evening. My name is Anand Shah, and I'm a senior at Kadena High School. I've been in DoDEA schools for 3 years, and my question is, we hear a lot about the Common Core standards issues in the States, many of which involve what seem to be complex, long, and expensive standardized testing programs. What's the assessment plan in place to measure the effectiveness of College and Career Ready initiative in DoDEA?
Go ahead. Thank you very much. That was a great question. I think the key to the implementing standards, the fidelity of implementing standards, is the proper assessment tool. And so we went through about a 6-month process where we put out a request for proposals, we evaluated very carefully, and we've selected a assessment team, it's called PARC, that have been integral in implementing assessment tools for the 20 states that are implementing what some people refer to as the Common Core, what we refer to as College and Career Ready. So we will be taking those evaluations on the readiness and the achievement and using that to improve student achievement. I think or it's been my experience in public education, that the way the states use the assessment data is really the key. If we use it to target areas where we need to improve student achievement, that's one thing. But if we use it as a total evaluation tool, for example, for the performance of teachers or the performance of administrators, I think we go off track. And I won't use specific state examples, but I've seen some where states have began to use that data and directly link it to the performance of the teacher in the classroom. But we don't intend to do that. And we will phase it in over a period of time. So we will have national standards. We have a consortium to help us identify what the key assessment tools are, and we will begin implementing them. But again, the use of those assessments will be real time and will be used by administrators and teachers to identify areas and gaps where they need to improve.
I really can't add too much except that we are working with the group to get started. Our planning sessions are going on now, so we will not actually start it until next school year. So because it takes time to plan it, because it was just awarded just in the last 30 days. So
right.
We're looking forward to it.
Great question. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Amelia Earhart. Next, we have Ramstein Middle School.
Hi there, my name is Matthew Street. I'm a parent here at Ramstein Middle School. Guten Tag from Germany. Our question, the first question we have here, middle schools have a 2-to-1 computer ratio, which means we are losing significant computers and resources. However, with implementing CCR, how can our students be adequately prepared if we lack the hardware and the infrastructure to support it?
To put in the resources necessary to make this a success. I think as we look at the IT infrastructure across DoDEA, that we are, last year we purchased, I want to say 67,000 new devices that will be in warranty for the next 3 years, and they're the implementation of delivery plan is going on right now. So in that, we are swapping one for one the machines that have been there for a long, long time. So we're going to have state-of-the-art. And I will look at the distribution scheme in Europe, but we are resourced well in terms, in my view, in terms of IT. I think you've hit a great point as to if you don't have the tools, you can't perform. But we certainly have the resources, and we've dedicated those, we purchased them, and they're on distribution.
Through some of our surveys, we found, Tom, that most parents or most students have access at home, so they can follow up at home. And really, with today's teaching, we ask for students to work in groups and to collaborate, and so they can share the computers to, talk to each other and collaborate in order to increase their learning opportunities.
Okay, great. Thanks for the question, Ramstein Middle School. Next up, we have Crossroads Elementary School.
Hello, everyone. We're here at Crossroads Elementary School at Marine Corps Base, Quantico. Our first representative is Patrick.
Well, first off, I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity for me to speak to you. I'm Patrick Kelly, and I've been going to DoDEA schools since 4th grade. I actually go to Quantico High School. I'm a sophomore there. I've benefited from a lot here at Quantico, but there's a policy that won't allow me to stay at Quantico for my junior and senior year because my dad recently retired from the Marine Corps. And I was just wondering if there's any way for that policy to be reviewed that would allow me to stay for my last 2 years of high school.
Thank you, Patrick. I certainly appreciate the question, and attach your dad's history to you. Thank you for his service. Unfortunately, and you're not alone in this category, we find that in particular in the United States, in housing, where it's public-private partnerships, and they need to continue to keep housing full, and many service members choose to live off post, that we find that we're having retirees and federal employees to fill, for all the right reasons, to fill the quarters to make sure that the public-private partnership is a sound one. But at the same time, we have law that precludes attendance at a DoDEA America school unless you reside on post and you're active duty. So until the law changes, we won't be able. I can't even do an exception to policy, which I'm pretty lenient on, if I can be, for students and parents. So I wish I could be more positive, but I would tell you that this is it's going to be discussed, and as I believe it's called a waterfall in terms of public-private housing in the United States. And it is not just an issue with Quantico, and it may get some discussion as we go forward. But in the short term, I wish I could do more, but that's what I can do based on the law that's on the books now.
And I believe it's also, if you start the school year, if your parents are still in active duty and you start the school year, we will allow you to finish the school year.
Absolutely.
So, they can plan their retirement after August when school starts. That will be helpful.
Yeah, I wish we could be more positive in your case, Patrick, but there's our hands are really tied by statute in this case.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Crossroads, for the question. Next, we have Humphreys Middle High School.
Oh, hello. My name is Nicole Castro. I'm a senior from Humphreys High School, and first of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity with letting us ask the questions and, kind of get a general idea of what's going on. Our question is, there are many ways in which students challenge themselves through rigorous courses. One of these would be taking honors classes when they opt for, they can't take AP courses or advanced placement because it's a little bit more. However, these honors credits are not taken into consideration, and we'd like to ask why DoDEA doesn't weigh honors credits, and if there was any way to change this policy.
Well, thank you for the question. I can't think of something that's more important than encouraging difficult courses for our students and challenging them academically. We put a great emphasis on taking AP courses and extending the challenge to freshmen and sophomores who are prepared. But honor courses are different. It's the measurement of honors courses and the difficulty associated with that. Lily, would you care to comment on that?
Sure. The AP courses are standardized because it's through the College Board. So we know that if a student takes a AP course in one school, whether it's a DoDEA school or an outside school, they have the same outline and there's a standard there. With honors classes, we don't have such a standard, and that's one reason why we really pushed for that for the AP courses. And certainly there are AP courses that you can take as you continue your schooling, and there are actually a few that you can take during your freshman and sophomore year. They are AP European History, Geography, and one other one. But so there are some opportunities for you to start with AP courses. It's because it's standard and it's a great challenge for our students, and we want our students to continue to do the best that they can. And just like us, and our job is we are challenged, we grow, and that's what we want our students.
I think AP courses are absolutely critical. And having said that, the standard that Dr. Curtis talked about is a national standard. The difficulty in identifying what's honors in one school district versus what's an honors in a different school district is very difficult. And it's not simply because of the review, it's just we want to be fair, we want to have a established baseline, and it's difficult to do it for honors courses. And so we've come to the conclusion that honoring honor courses on the surface is not necessarily the right answer. But thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you, Humphreys Middle High School. Next we have Vicenza Middle School.
Hey, Mr. Brady and Dr. Hi, everyone. This is Stephanie Elside, principal of Vicenza Middle School in beautiful, sunny Vicenza, Italy. We're very excited and appreciative of this opportunity to talk to you today. We have a few fabulous representatives of our community of learners that would like to ask you some questions. Lucas.
Greetings, Mr. Brady and Dr. Curtis. My name is Lucas Ridgely, and I'm an 8th grader and a proud Puma representative of NJHS and JLS. Thank you for this opportunity. My question today is, any plans in creating honors classes, such as honors English and honors social studies, at the middle school level, like many schools in the States already have? I ask this because many students like me would have liked to participate in honors classes at the middle school level to help challenge and prepare us for honors or AP classes in high school. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas. It was precise timing. As soon as you introduced yourself and you began to ask the question, you went silent. But I think we got the gist of it. I'll ask Dr. Curtis to comment.
Well, we have not offered honors in the middle school, but we do offer opportunities for students that are excelling well to continue their work in taking high school classes in the area of math and in foreign language. So those are the two ways that we have pushed to allow students to excel and to prepare themselves for the high school. But at this time, we have not addressed, talked about having honors in the middle school.
I always love it when I hear a student ask about, or a parent ask about how we can get them quicker and how it can be more difficult, and honors would be a good example. And this won't solve your problem because you'll be in college by the time we get to this. But once we have implemented the college career ready standards, I'd like to think every course will be an honor course, and every student will be challenged, and every teacher will be challenged to meet that standard. So I think we're on the right track. But let me take a look at it, and we'll see if it makes sense in a short term to take a look at some honor courses in middle school. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question, Vicenza Middle School. Next up, we have Hampton Primary School.
Good morning. Welcome to Hampton Primary School, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. We have a few folks that have questions for you. We're going to start off with a second grade student, Augustina Pera, for the first question.
How will the new math standards help military children who have to move a lot?
Augustina, thank you very much for the question. I'm old and my hearing is very bad, so I didn't catch that, but we have some people with gray hearing here who don't.
Did you say how does the math? I wasn't sure what you said.
How do the math standards, how will they help military children?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's a great question. How it will help is that while you are in a DoDEA school now, and hopefully you will be for a couple of years, what will happen is you will transfer, or your parents will go to a different place in the United States or in the United States, and you will be in a different school district, and it'll be a public school district that's outside an installation or a fort or a naval base, and you'll have to be prepared because they have been doing these national standards for the last 5 years. And we want to be sure that when you transfer from a DoDEA school to a local public school, that you are not only at the standard but above the standard, and then when you return to DoDEA, it's a similar sort of standard. And so what we want to do is have an excellent standard that equals or is better than the schools that you will attend as you head towards college.
Certainly, and because the military child, like you, transfers a lot, there's a lot of transitioning. We're trying to smooth that transition. So if we all are working off the same set of standards, it will ease that transition period and help you to jump right into that new school and really get started and be on the right place.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Hampton. All right. On our first from 6-star schools and location, now we have a couple of questions that were sent in through social media. We'll get back to our schools after we finish these questions. The first question comes from Teresa. Many teachers seem concerned about gaps in standards as we change to CCRSM. Have we done a comparison to check for obvious gaps and create a bridge for students/teachers?
Well, again, an excellent question. Yes, we did a gap analysis between the DoDEA standards and the college and career standards, and that effort took about a year, and we identified where we needed to put additional work. And so, yes, to answer your question, yes, it was a gap analysis, and it did identify the areas. It's not that DoDEA standards were bad, it's just that we need to transition to, I think, more rigorous standards, but we did identify where the gaps were.
And we did that in math and literacy. I think that was part of the question too. So we did both areas at the same time. And we have the information on our Schoology site, and you can reach that through our web page. So,
okay, thank you. Thanks, Andrew.
All right, we have a second question that came in from Jennifer. She's a parent in Korea. She asks, why are freshmen and sophomores not allowed to take AP courses?
I think that, well, Jennifer, we need to improve our communication to our parents, obviously, because we can, students can take AP courses as freshmen and sophomores. If they're AP courses, usually juniors and seniors, you need an academic foundation before you go to the advanced placement. But there are students that are prepared in freshman and sophomore year to do well, to take and excel on AP courses. So here we are trying to push them in for juniors and seniors. We certainly want to turn around and say the freshmen and sophomores can. If they're prepared to do it, we encourage them to do it. And so I'm not sure where the question came from, but we need to make sure that we get that information out properly.
And there are 3 courses that they can currently take without any waiver request or something, and that would be world history, European history, and human geography. Those are all AP courses. So it's a good way for students to start with a AP class that is designated for them, that we feel that they can handle that.
Yeah.
And then they move into the other courses.
Yeah, so I encourage it, Linda encourages it, and we just need to get the word out to parents to make sure they understand that option's available. Thank you.
Okay, and Jennifer actually has one more question. She asks, why are freshmen and sophomores prohibited from taking college courses via dual enrollment, and why are juniors and seniors limited to 2 classes per year?
This is a new program, our dual enrollment. We're just starting that this year, and so we have set up some guidelines to guide us along. We will reevaluate this as students do complete this opportunity. We felt that juniors and seniors could handle it better, and so we will reevaluate it as we go along and see if we need to change what our standards are.
Yeah, I was puzzled as I went around and found out that we didn't have an opportunity for dual enrollment, and I think I've seen it used successfully in our district. And I think it's again, for our students who are prepared to do well and to challenge them, great opportunity. So I challenged the staff to come up with a program. They did. We're executing it this year, and like everything new, we have to take a step back. Didn't want the whole pie out at the same time. Need to go, I think, incrementally, and based on the results of this year, we may expand it. And I'd like to, but we're going to wait for some data to decide. Andrew, if I may, I think a lot of people, let's go for another round of people who have taken the time to come to the various schools rather than the writing questions. How's that sound?
That sounds great. Okay, so let's we'll start the second round. We'll go back to Amelia Earhart Intermediate School.
Thank you.
Hey, good morning. My name's Sean McBride. I've got 2 children in DoDEA schools. My daughter's a senior. She's finishing up her 4th year here at Kubasaki. My son is a sophomore at Kubasaki. He also attended Lester Middle School, and both kids also attended DoDEA schools at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I've got a number of parents that I've spoken to that have recently returned from the United States, or PCS out here from the United States. They're concerned that the good schools in the United States, specifically Northern Virginia, have more AP and honors classes than are offered here in our DoDEA schools. I don't have the data to back that up, so I was wondering, is that an accurate assessment? And if so, is there any efforts to offer more AP and honors classes so that our students are as competitive as their counterparts in the States?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the question. And I would tell you that I agree with you. Having worked in Fairfax County, which is in North Virginia, for 5 years, I'm familiar with and other good school systems in North Virginia, I'm sure. That rigor and providing opportunities for our students is number 1. Priority. So having said that, we have seen an increase in both offerings of AP and teacher certification so they can teach AP courses, and we will continue that effort. And participation rate, success, as judged by 3 or more to get college credit, I think is equally important to parents because it saves college credit and money as your students do well. So I couldn't think of a more important area that we need to put emphasis on. I think you've heard the discussion before about the honors class, and I spend more time. We need to spend more time on the AP because I think that's a much better solution for our gifted students. But I fully understand what you're talking about. I don't think DoDEA students today are at a disadvantage, but I think we can make the system more advantageous for those who are going to do well.
I think it's also helpful, Sean, that students make sure they connect with their counselor and talk about their 6-year plan to graduate. And in some of our smaller schools, our smaller high schools, can only offer, say, like physics every other year. So it would be really important for the students to talk with their counselors so that they have that information, so that they don't miss out on the AP courses.
And thanks, Linda. And also, take a look at the DoDEA Virtual High School. I was down there just yesterday. That is a great opportunity. Difficult, no question, particularly when you're in the Pacific or in Europe. The time and the dedication you have to do as a student, and our instructors, it's not an easy way to do it. But it does offer an opportunity for particularly those students who are in smaller schools to take those advanced placement courses to improve their academic portfolio.
And of course, we have 3 hubs of the virtual school. So we do have a virtual school right there in Pacific and in Europe and in Americas. And we try to connect the teachers with the students in the same time zone as possible, but sometimes that's not possible.
Yeah, some of the feedback I've seen from conversations with the students is that difficulty where it's 7 o'clock and their time and it's 8 o'clock.
Some of us have had more than people, so.
Yeah, and some of us aren't geared up to get up at 4 a.m. So yeah, I understand. Good question. I appreciate it, sir.
Okay, great. Thanks, Amelia Earhart Intermediate School. Next, we have Romstein Middle School.
Hello, my name is Jenny Klein, and I have 4 students in the DoDEA schools. And I appreciate as a parent the goal of CCR, but I want to know, will the implementation of CCR allow for differentiation in classrooms in terms of both specific learning styles and ability levels? And also, will the CCR implementation at the middle school and high school level include full-time coaches and professional development?
That is a wonderful question. Thank you very much. I'll take it that 2-part, and I'll take the second one first. I just hinted at it at the beginning because I didn't want to take too much time from the question and answer period. But the redesign is called restructuring for student success. It's taking those organizations that are above, in DoDEA now, that are above school level, and putting, changing the types of skill sets for those people. And what we're talking about is additional instructors. We're talking about centers for student excellence, and they will be focused on the academic achievement and providing additional resources to schools to address the implementation of these standards. So yes, definitely, there will be additional resources provided to school level to teachers and administrators as we go through the implementation, the full implementation of CCRS. And so that reorganization has begun, and in the next 2 years you'll see it completely in place. The first part, Linda?
On differentiation, CCR should not change that. We still are looking to the students' abilities, and we should offer opportunities for differentiation both for students that excel and students that need the extra support. So we will continue working that.
Yeah, I think you mentioned Common Core. I think we just need to take 2 seconds to talk about that. The Common Core has become a remarkably politicized term, and it gets very real emotional responses as soon as you say something about Common Core. And quite frankly, I don't think that's productive. Not that you took it that way, but I think when we think about college and career ready, we can't think, when we think of standards, how we approach those and the skills and the talents of the teacher to get to those standards are encouraged, and it's going to be, we're counting on our tremendous teaching force to do that. So it's not cookie cutter, it's not going to be everybody does the same thing, they'll be differentiated based on students. That will still be there, as Dr. Curtis knows. So we are not trying to provide the template here from Washington and direct everybody to do it in every classroom. That would be absolutely counterproductive, and that's not the vision that we have. So thank you. Very good question. Go ahead. I can't hear you.
Okay, thank you, Ramstein Middle School. Next we have Crossroads Elementary School.
Good morning, Mr. Brady and Dr. Curtis. I'm Greta Burtno, and I'm one of the special education teachers here at Crossroads. And I've seen a need for professional development and ongoing support for teachers in the areas of behavioral and communication support for our special needs populations in the form of maybe a building level behavioral specialist operating much like our staff development teacher does for teaching and learning. And I just wondered if that has been considered for any schools or complexes that might demonstrate the need in DoDEA.
Yeah, excellent question. And I think as we look at implementation, student success, that looking at our special needs population is it will certainly need more attention, more rigor, and we need to provide that professional development to our teacher workforce to make sure that we are meeting the student needs regardless. And I think that that's a very important population. I'm certainly not overlooking it, and I think that we do need to increase our special ed professional development. Dr.
I certainly agree with you on that. I am aware of some schools that do hire behavior specialists because of the needs of the students, and we do have that flexibility. So if that is a need, I encourage you to work with your principal, who will work with your superintendent to make that happen. That is a need.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for everyone's information, we were supposed to stop at about 5 minutes ago. You know, I think we just need to keep going.
Yeah.
And so if you want to hang on for another 25 minutes, we'll hang on. So let's keep going.
Okay, great. So thank you, Crossroads Elementary School, for that question. Next we have Humphreys Middle High School.
Still muted.
They're muted.
Hello, my name is Beth Wilson, and I have two daughters that are in DoDEA. One is in the 10th grade, and one is in the 5th grade. They've been in DODS all their school years except for 2. So my question is in reference to the EDC funding program. As you know, the program is funded based on the school size. So currently, from my understanding is the high school here is considered a small school, so their funding was cut by $40,000 this school year, which obviously has a major negative impact on the different after-school programs and activities that the kids are involved in. So my question is, how can the current program be changed so that the funding distributed is more equitable among smaller schools and bigger schools? If we want all of the kids to have the same opportunities, we can't if we are being negative impacted by $40,000 is a huge cut. So that's my question. How can it be changed?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I couldn't agree with you more about it. And we go back to my original statement about the remarkably well resourced. In that resource and the distribution of resources, I certainly don't want to cut back, particularly at the smaller schools, which have more of a dramatic impact. Luckily, we have the former area director of the Pacific, so I'm sure that she can give a little bit more detail on the particular program you're talking about. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. What I would suggest, ma'am, is if you need more money, which it sounds like you would like to offer some more opportunities for your students, and that's really, really important. I do believe that this is like a baseline. It's what we start with. And if you work for your principal and requests, and they'll send it up to the superintendent and then to the area, I'm sure that it can accommodate at least some of that money coming back. But and if not, they'll come up to us, Jill and myself, and we'll make it, work it and try and be equitable with everyone. $40,000 is a large cut.
Absolutely.
I would be very concerned about that also.
I would too. As a matter of fact, I am going to have a conversation with the area director Pacific this evening, and so I will bring it up to her and find out where we are with Humphrey, and no promises, but we check it out. Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah, good question. We want to provide all opportunities that we can for our students to ensure that they have things to do after school too. So that's very important.
Good goal. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Humphreys Middle High School. Next we have Vicenza Middle School.
Good morning, Mr. Brady and Dr. Curtis. My name is Missy Huggins. I'm a proud Puma parent of a 6th grader and an 8th grader here in Vicenza. I would like to revisit the question regarding technology. We find here in Italy that our students often do not have home computers or portable laptops to use for school, but more often than that, we find that they do not have the internet capabilities in their homes here in Italy. So we would like to look at that, and then also in regard to our building, also looking at infrastructure. We still experience many connectivity issues, slow connectivity, spending maybe 20-30 minutes trying to use a computer when we're limited to 14 of a class of 30. So we would like to know what DoDEA has in plan and store for infrastructure specifically.
Thank you very much. That's a great question. I'm surprised this is the first one of the first IT questions. When you look around the world, one of our biggest challenges is it's a blessing and it's a challenge at the same time. Resources in terms of purchasing the equipment, I think we're B plus, A minus. That's not the issue. The issue is, I think, not to oversimplify, but there's a great opportunity in being a K-12, pre-K-12 school system within the Department of Defense. There's also a challenge in being a pre-K-12 educational agency within the Department of Defense. We rely on the services and the installations in terms of broadband and connectivity. That in some cases is a challenge, and I don't need to go through geographically around the world on where you find that to be a challenge. We work very closely, and our IT professionals are constantly talking to DoD officials in each one of the services responsible for providing that connectivity. We've got fiber that goes to the classroom, not just to the school. I'd like to say that we're doing what we can, but but the answer is we're not, and it's spotty that we're not doing all we can. So we're going to follow up. I know it's a challenge. I don't have an easy answer. And as far as devices are concerned, I think we're on the right track. And I think you mentioned something about devices and one-on-ones or providing laptops to students. I don't think that's the answer. I think you find that we found with experience, and I have in other districts, but I have in some of the DoDEA, you have so many distractors in terms of machines that don't operate correctly, charging, the capability of keeping them up to date. So I'm not sure, I'm not a big fan of that, but I am a big fan of having the best equipment that we can within the schools for the students there. And as I said, connectivity continues to be a challenge. In fact, yesterday in Europe, we had a similar circumstance come up. I think Ramstein, Kazakhstan, Vicenza, now here I'm going around the world bringing it up. Guam. So I am not going to tell you there's an easy answer. I can tell you that we're working on it, and we will continue to work on it. Dr. Curtis?
Yes, over the years, DoDEA has, just recently, in the last 2 or 3 years, has spent a lot of money on bandwidth, to expand our bandwidth. We were thinking that was our problem. Well, when we did that, it didn't solve all of our problems. We are looking at some things that take a heavy load on our machines and our bandwidth, like streaming, and we noticed yesterday when they were looking into this, there were classrooms that were having music all day long.
Yeah.
So that takes a lot of away from our system, and so we have to really do it with users and use it properly. And so we are still analyzing it. We will continue. Every time we have a problem, we do analyze it, but we don't always get to the right answer. So we keep looking at it. And you have our commitment that we will continue to look at the IT situation.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing it up.
Okay, thank you, Vicenza Middle School. Next up, we have Hampton Primary School.
Our next question comes from Crystal Lloyd. Ms. Lloyd has a second grade student here at Hampton Primary School.
Hello. My question is a two-part question, and I would like to know, how does DoDEA support the transition of military students that have been involved in the DoDEA school system when they transfer to the local school districts? And the second part of that is, what procedures have been implemented or are considered to directly help that child with the emotional support that they need, so that all the academic achievement that we're striving for is not compromised?
Great two-part question, and thank you for answering. The first is that the transition had traditionally, and in some cases continues to be, a challenge of moving from a DoDEA school into a public school system, particularly when the public school system doesn't have a large number of military-related students. And so I think about 4 years ago, 5 years ago perhaps, there was an interstate compact that began where states would understand and have representatives for military-related student transfers, and so they could provide the local districts the kind of information that will help parents and students arrive at a new civilian school district. I'm familiar with the compact. I was the Rhode Island's representative when I was the superintendent of Providence, Rhode Island. I could spell Army, and I didn't have to be spotted the A and the Y. So I think it's important to have that kind of background to help explain the transitions and the uniqueness of military students as they go around the world. And I've seen some very, very good progress with that interstate compact. We still need some work to be done. DoDEA as an organization has an excellent grant program that targets school districts that have at least 15% of military-related students, and it's to provide precisely the types of services that you're talking about. We have great students, but they have a unique experience that civilian students don't have in extended deployments of spouses of their parents, and the stresses of moving from place to place, and I think equally important that when you're a spouse, the parents are deployed for the last 8-10 years. It's been in harm's way. So that has a dramatic impact on students, and we appreciate that. And it's provided those type of professional development opportunities for the staffs, teachers of districts. And last year we had $86 million in grants provided to the districts that had at least 15%. So certainly an issue, certainly we're working on it, and I think it's a great question. Dr. Curtis.
I agree, Tom. It's easier for the students that go to a military-impacted public school because they're used to the transition and their counselors have been trained, etc. Certainly, also you can reach out to your counselor at your school because they can reach out to the other school in the state side, and they will do that and help share, especially if your child has some difficulty or something. They'll be happy to make that connection. And sometimes they can even find a student that will start communicating with your child to make that transition easy. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. A very good question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hampton Primary School. Now we're going to go back to a couple of questions we got in through social media. Our first question comes in from Susan. She asks, why does DoDEA continue to say it does customer satisfaction surveys every 2 years when the last one went out in 2010?
Yeah, I think that's, thank you, Andrew, for that question. I love the question. How come you say do? And actually the question's right. We had a customer survey, a satisfaction survey, and we needed to revise it. So we went to the University of California. Thank you, University of California, to update it, revise it, and didn't tell our customers that we were updating the customer satisfaction survey. So as a result, if their expectations are, hey, when you ask me if I'm satisfied, and you don't even get asked, then I guess we know what your satisfaction levels are. So a long way of getting to, we are updating the survey.
Spring of 16, we've had to have the questions reviewed by Washington Headquarters Services and the Office of Management and Budget. Whenever we do a survey, there's a procedure that we have to go through. So the goal is spring of 16. So you should be seeing it this school year.
Refer back to being in the Department of Defense Education Activity pluses and minuses. So we go through all the bureaucrats in the Department of Defense. We've got the right questions. We're going to get it out. And so then we'll find out where our satisfaction. Good question.
Okay, we got one more that came in through social media. This one comes from Lori. She asks, will DoDEA purchase new Common Core textbooks for next year?
We're in the process of doing a textbook purchase to support our career and college ready standards. I think, and I don't think we've got a question from our parents, but I'm sure that they would ask is, teachers participate, the parents participate. We're going to have a proper procurement in the sense that we will have involvement of all stakeholders before we actually purchase them.
In fact, we'll have it's called a TED, Text Evaluation Board, and it's scheduled it's scheduled at the end of January or end of February. So we anticipate in spring of 2016 the materials will start coming, the resources will start coming in to be used for 16-17, and it will align more effectively with the standards that we
Yeah. Thank you. Very good question. Andrew, I think it's about time to wrap up. And so we need a couple of minutes to ask.
Well, certainly it's been a pleasure to be here today and to talk to all of you. You have excellent questions that we follow up on a few of them, of course. And as I said, if you have not had an opportunity to ask your questions, if you send them in, we'll be happy to address them. And thanks for the opportunity. It was a new experience for me. Yeah. And it was fun. Very easy to do.
Well, thank you very much. I never done a hot hangout, and so I thank Google for arranging this for us. I think I would much prefer to be there face to face so we could have the dialogue. And of course, that's the goal. But we can't do all of the work at the same time. So I think that this is a good chance to get some feedback. I think this is a very exciting time. I think we're implementing some things that are absolutely critical. We're changing an organization, and when you have change, some people accept it, some people are skeptical, and some people don't ever want to change. So we'll work through all that. But I want particularly the students and parents to know that everyone who works here is concentrating on taking care of students and improving student performance and doing what we can. Just a little background on myself. All 5 of my children attended DoDEA schools. My wife attended DoDEA school, and 5 of my 7 grandchildren attended DoDEA school. So I have a personal stake in it. That would be critical, but it is, and I think that kind of background is very, very important. And you've got the principal deputy who's been in DoDEA professionally and knows probably more about DoDEA than I'll ever know. Forgotten more about it than I have. But she is passionate about taking care of our students as well. So I think we've got the right team. We've got the resources. We've got a dedicated workforce and great parents and students. There's no reason in the world that we're not having this hangout in the next couple of years and we're just celebrating the success. And I thank the DMA for arranging this for us. I'd like to do it more often. So for those of you who want to have the way to get to the schools, thank you for doing that. And we look forward to having this set up again. And so best of luck until the next time. Thank you very much. Great hanging out with you.
Okay, great. Joining us. Good morning. And